The Constitution of India. Preamble. We, the people of India, having solemnly resolved to constitute India into a sovereign, socialist, secular, democratic republic and to secure to all its citizens justice, social, economic and political, liberty of thought, expression, belief, faith and worship, equality of status and of opportunity, and to promote among them all fraternity, assuring the dignity of the individual and the unity and integrity of the nation. In our Constituent Assembly, this 26th day of November 1949, do hereby adopt, enact and give to ourselves this Constitution.
Happy morning, students. I know you all are doing good and you would have started with your new chapter, coordination compounds. If not, try to find a time to start with the same posting done by the teachers so that you don't miss any of the classes. So last class we were learning about the introduction to coordination compounds, and this class we are going to deal with the nomenclature. Before that, we should also learn the formulas for writing the coordination compounds. That includes mainly of some of the entities which we have learnt in the previous class, like it should be written in a square bracket, it should have a central metal atom, there are some ligands which can be negative ligand, which can be a neutral ligand, and there should be no space when you are writing the ligands and the central metal atom. And we also know that there are some of the ions which are present outside the coordination sphere. Now those are called as counter ions. Now those counter ions are the primary valencies which are ionizable. The number of primary valency or the number of negative ions will be equal to the number of positive ions in a coordination entity, so that the whole complex compound becomes neutral. So these are the things we should remember when you are writing the formula. I will be giving you a list of negative and also neutral ligands for you to learn in by heart, so that you don't miss the way for writing the coordination compound. With this, now let us learn how to name the coordination compound. So children, now let us learn how to name a coordination compound. Now there are few steps which we should consider while naming the coordination compound. The first and foremost thing is cation is named first, because we know there can be situations where we have a complex like this, right? So if you have a complex like this, definitely cations should be named first, or the complex can itself become a cation. So in that case, the cation will be named first before the anion. As we have seen already, ligands will be placed in the alphabetical order. So you will see how many ligands are there, and then you will start naming the ligands in the alphabetical order. If you have negative ligands, it should be ending with the letter O. Say if you have chlorine, chlorido, bromide, bromido, iodide, iodido, like that. And if you have positive ligands like NO2+, nitronium, nitrosonium, so you will use IUM. So this year we are not that focusing on positive ligands, but most probably we will be having negative and neutral. Now neutral, the most common repeated are water, which is aqua, ammonia, which is amine, CO, that is carbonyl, NO, that is nitrosyl. So these are the mainly repeated neutral ligands for us this year. And if you have more than 2-3 ligands repeated in a complex, you will use the word mono, di, tri, dichlorido, triaqua, tetra, penta, hexa, hepta, and it goes like that you already know it. The oxidation state of the central metal atom should be written in Roman letter. So right, we have cobalt. So if the oxidation state, if it is 2, it should be mentioned in the Roman letter within the parenthesis. The complex ion, if it is a cation, the central metal atom name will be remaining the same. Say if this is my cation, say assume that it is 2+. So this will be just iron. I just write here iron. Okay, but if my complex is my anion, say if it is 2 minus, instead of iron, I use 8. That is, I write ferrate. If nickel is there, nickelate. If cobalt is there, cobaltate, chromate. You understood, children? So we will be using if it is a negative complex. Now we will be seeing few examples how to write the name the coordination compounds and with the name how to draw the structure. Let us now name this coordination compound here. You have chromium as a central metal atom. You have ligands amine and aqua, that is water, and you have 3 chlorine atoms. So how should I name this now? I have amine and have aqua. So Am comes first. 3 amine is there. So I will write triamine and 3 water molecules. So tri-aqua. Then what will come? I should write my central metal atom, which is chromium. Right? This is my neutral species or a positive species. So no change in the name of the central metal atom. Chromium. Now I should know the charge, oxidation state of chromium. Here it is 0, this is 0. Outside I have minus 3. So what should be the charge of chromium? It should be balanced. So it will be chromium 3 and then I will write here chloride. Chromium 3 chloride. This is my counter ion which is placed outside. So the charge of this complex will be 3 plus. So this is how we should be writing the name of the coordination compound. Now here if you see, there are 3 sulfate molecules which are bonding with the 2 complex cation. The whole complex is 2 present and 3 sulfate molecules are getting bonded to this. So how will I write now? This is my ethane 1,2-diamine. This is ethane 1,2-diamine and I have 3 ligands of that. So which I will write here tris. Tris, open the bracket, then I write ethane hyphen 1,2 hyphen diamine, ethane 1,2-diamine and then close the bracket. Then here I will write cobalt. What will come? This again a positive cobalt. What should be the charge of cobalt here? It should be 3 plus. So cobalt 3 sulfate. Cobalt 3 sulfate. Again this is my neutral ligand. So this will be 0 here. 3 sulfate molecules are there. So cobalt 3 plus. Cobalt 3 sulfate. Understood, children? Now this is how we will be writing the name. So you can do the homework which are given in the textbook. You have in page number 243. Example question 2 you have tetraamine aqua chlorido 3 chloride. They have given the name, they have asked you to write it. So you can try that. This is also easy. Solutions though they have given, you don't see the solutions but try to write on your own because naming is very important. So they can give the name and ask you to write the structure, or they can give the structure and ask you to write the name of the complex compound. Now we will get back into isomerism. Let us learn about isomerism in the coordination compounds. We know what are isomers. Isomers are compounds which are having the same molecular formula but different structural formula. So here we are going to learn how coordination compounds can show isomerism in their structure. Isomerism basically are of 2 types. We have stereoisomerism, which is the most important, then the structural isomerism. In stereoisomerism we have 2 types again, geometrical isomerism and optical isomerism. When I say geometrical isomerism, the spatial arrangement of the ligands around the central metal atom differs. Now this takes place commonly in square planar and octahedral structure, and it is not possible with tetrahedral because in tetrahedral we don't have this adjacent and opposite positions. So you have the first type with square planar MX2L2 where M is the central metal atom, X and L are the unidentate ligands. So if you see the example here, platinum with 2 amine and 2 chlorine molecules, when this NH3 are at the same position, we call them as a cis isomerism. And when the chlorine and amine are at the opposite position, diagonally opposite to each other, you call it as a trans isomerism. The same thing with a bidentate ligand, if you want to see, with ethylene diamine, if the chlorine molecule are adjacent, you call it as a cis, and if the chlorine molecules are diagonally opposite, you call them as a trans. So this is with square planar structure. Now same thing you can consider when you take an octahedral structure. In octahedral, you have a metal atom with ABXL type, where all are unidentate ligands. But here if you see, in the structure, we have 2 chlorine molecules and 4 amine molecules, where the chlorine are closer to each other, you call it as a cis isomerism again. And here the chlorine are diagonally opposite to each other, you call it as a trans geometrical isomerism. So how do you get questions in exam? They can give you the formula like CONH3,4Cl2. Write the geometrical isomerism of this compound. So we know 4 plus 2, 6 is the coordination number. So it forms an octahedral structure. How to write the cis and trans geometrical isomerism of an octahedral structure? So you should be able to write it, or they may give you the structure, one cis structure, they may ask you to write the transformation. In this, now imagine we have NH3, NH3, and we have Cl, Cl. Now these type of questions can also come, where again you have here facial and meridional isomerism, where in meridional again facial you will be having the same compounds on one side, but in meridional just the 2 ligands, they exchange their position, they be around the meridian of the central metal atom. Now that you call it as a meridional isomers. So with this, geometrical isomerism is done. So basically you will be given a cis and ask you for trans, or you may given a trans isomerism structure and ask you to write the cis form, or a structure can be given and you may have to write both the cis and trans form. Now we will get back into optical isomerism. Now let us learn about the second type of isomerism, which is the optical isomerism. When I say optic, it is nothing but the plane polarized light when it is sent through the complex compound. What does it happen to the compound? The compound tries to rotate in any one of the direction, maybe to the direction of right or to the direction of left. Now what happens at that time? The mirror images that cannot be superimposed. So I have my right and I have my left. Now if I am going to keep my right on my left, what happens? This does not get synchronized, this does not goes together at the same direction, right? That is called as mirror images. So those mirror images which cannot be superimposed are called as enantiomers, and such a compound is called as chiral compound. That chiral compound will have 2 type of rotation. One is the rotation towards the right, which we call it as dextrorotatory. The other one is the rotation towards the left, which is called as levorotatory. Let us take an example. Say assume this is the mirror and you have ethane 1,2-diamine. So here this is my direction towards the right, dextrorotatory. So what will be the mirror image? If I am going to place this compound on the top of this, I do not see that both of them they slide on the same direction. So this will be my right and this will be my left. Similarly with another compound of platinum, if you see, these dispositions are on my right, but the mirror image is on my left. So this is called as optical isomerism, where the plane polarized light will determine the rotation or direction, whether it is on right or on left, for an optical compound, optically active compound, which is also called as a chiral compound. So this is an example of optical isomerism. So you will be given one example, you may have to draw the mirror image of the other compound in this. That is how they ask in the optical isomerism. Now we'll get back into structural isomerism, where 4 types are there. They are pretty easy to understand and you should be learning with examples also. Today's topic for the last session is structural isomerism, where there are 4 types basically. They differ in their structure, but their molecular formula and everything remains the same. Their structures are a little bit different, where you have linkage isomerism, coordination isomerism, ionization isomerism, and the last one being solvate isomerism. Now let us see what they mean by linkage isomerism. Now the word linkage shows there is some link between the central metal atom and the ligand, that is some bond. Now this happens only when you have ambidentate ligands in your complex molecule. What are ambidentate ligands? Ambidentate ligands are those where the ligand, there are 2 donor atoms which are present in one ligand, like NO, CN. The bond can happen through carbon and also through nitrogen. In NO2 it can happen through nitrogen and also through oxygen. So those are called as ambidentate ligands. So in a complex having ambidentate ligands, so this is my central metal atom. If it is bonded through oxygen, the color is red. If it is bonding through nitrogen, the color is yellow. So this type of linkage, we call it as linkage isomerism. So how can I write it? For example, CrONO, or it will be Cl2. The same thing Cr, it can be NO2, Cl2. So the central metal atom will remain the same. Only thing is the bonding, the link that it is attached will be through either my oxygen or through my nitrogen. Such an isomerism we call it as linkage isomerism. The next one is coordination isomerism. In coordination isomerism, if you see the coordination sphere, one will be a positive, the other one will be negative, where the central metal atom exchange between the coordination sphere. If you see here, I have cobalt bonded with amine, chromium bonded with cyanide. The same complex can be written where chromium is bonded with amine and cobalt with cyanide. So the ligands exchange, or the central metal atom, they exchange between the coordination sphere. So such a isomerism we call it as coordination isomerism. The coordinate bond formed between the central metal atom and the ligand will be different in both the spheres. Next one is ionization isomer. Children, we have learnt in the beginning of the class, there is a coordination sphere where within the brackets they do not ionize. Those ions which are present outside the sphere, they get ionized, that is they dissolve in the water. So if you consider this example, I have my sulfate amine inside the sphere, bromide ion being outside. The reverse of it I have written here, where bromide is inside and sulfate is outside. So if you get an example where you have the counter ions getting exchanged inside and outside the bracket, you call them as ionization isomer. How do they ask in the exam? They give you this example, they ask you to write the isomer of this. So what type of isomer? Definitely I should write here ionization isomer. The last one is solvate isomerism, which we also call it as hydrate isomerism, because solvent is the water molecule. So the solvent molecule, whether it is directly bonded to the central metal atom or it is not bonded to the central metal atom, everything we will be finding out. How do I find out? You take an example here, chromium with 6 water molecules directly bonded to chromium, and we have chloride ions outside. But if you take this example, I have one of the water molecule getting outside the sphere and 3 chloride were there outside, where 1 chlorine enters into the coordination sphere to balance the charges. So here the number of water molecules were 6, but here it became 5 because 1 water molecule is coming outside the sphere. The color here it is violet, but here it is grey green. So hydrate isomerisms, where the water molecules actually exchange inside and outside to balance the charges. So the color of the complex itself will be changed. Such isomerism we call it as solvate isomerism or hydrate isomerism. So what do we understand basically about isomerism? Isomers are compound which are having same molecular formula but different structural formula. So in this, if you see, the linkage isomerism is for ambidentate ligands, where the type of linkage or the donor atom decides the name of the isomerism. In coordination isomerism, the exchange of ligands and the central metal atom between two coordination pairs. And in ionization isomer, if you see, there are ions, counter ions which are getting exchanged inside and outside the sphere. And in solvate isomerism, the solvent molecules will be different, which are getting bonded or not bonded to the central metal atom. So these are the important things that we should learn about isomerism in the case of structural isomerism. So we have stereoisomerism and structural isomerism. Stereoisomerism, we learnt about geometrical isomerism, about cis and trans, where the molecules will be given with square planar and octahedral structure. You should be writing the adjacent and diagonal position of the ligand. And then we have the optical isomerism, where you will be writing the mirror image, the dextro and the levorotatory of the complex compound. And then comes our structural isomerism. These are very important, children, because you can see definite questions from this topic. They may ask you to define an isomerism with an example, differentiate between two types of isomerism, or they may give you the structure, ask you to identify the type of isomerism in each case. So definitely go through the text with various examples given, also your HSS live notes and your solved question papers for better understanding. If you have any doubt, do let me know, children. Okay. So with this, we'll wind up the class for today, and the next class we'll be learning about bonding in coordination compounds. So until then, see you in the next class. Stay home, stay safe, take care, bye.